Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today, with the update sneak peeks just around the corner, I wanted to give you guys a bit of a fluff video to be sort of like my hair, all puffy and fluffy. These are the top 10 characters that I enjoy playing. I like playing these characters for different reasons. So starting us off at number 10, we have Luna Snow. And no, I don't enjoy playing Luna Snow because of her theme song, because I almost never use her as a leadership. I honestly think they should change this if she ever got a new uniform, so that her theme song plays regardless of whether she's in the lead spot or not. I mean, it's kind of quirky that it only plays when she is in the lead spot, but her leadership is pretty useless practically. It's practically has, you know, very little buff to it. You want to use something instead, like, you know, Nick Fury or even Misty Knight, White Fox lead. There's so many leads that are way better than hers for herself. The reason why I like playing Luna, however, is a lot more simple. She has a unique mechanic on her first, second, and third skill where they refresh each other. So although her rotation seems like a whole bunch of spam, it's actually a calculated spam that I still enjoy doing, and I catch myself when I miss doing it to this day. And keep in mind, when I say I still enjoy doing it, I'm highlighting the fact that Luna has been meta for multiple ABX days for multiple years. I usually get tired of characters a lot sooner, but with Luna, I haven't gotten tired of it. So let me just give you guys a quick example. When you do the 2, nothing happens. When you do the 1, it can refresh the 2, and when you do the 3, well, here, let me put the 1 on cooldown. When you do the 3, it can refresh the cooldown on the 1. So you saw just there you go. I just showed you guys both refreshes. I was able to refresh the 1 with the 3, and I was able to refresh the 2 with the 1. It's a very simple premise, and other characters have this effect, but Luna is just by far the strongest character that has this effect, and it just makes her playstyle, despite the fact that it's very spammy and it's, you know, very rage proc friendly, or judgment proc friendly, it just makes it really fun. Her encore passive just makes her very fun to play, and it's like a thinking man's or a thinking person's spam. It's not exactly spam, and so you can tell a good player from, or a good Luna Snow player from a great Luna Snow player, depending on whether or not they can take advantage of that and, you know, time those skills properly and in the correct order in order to maximize the number of times they're actually able to use Shimmering Crystal and Ardent Performance. Because you can't actually refresh 3, so this is always going to be stuck on a 6.5 second clock, but you can definitely get a lot more casts of Shimmer Crystal and Ardent Performance if you can set them up correctly to do them in that 2-1-3 order. Coming up at number 9, we have Doctor Strange. And now Doctor Strange, like Luna Snow, is a very spam-friendly character. And it's not that I like spam characters. In Doctor Strange's case, and it's whether he has the space uniform or whether he has his old uniforms, he just has some of the most gorgeous animations in the game. And you can see it in, you know, the different icons and the different clocks that he summons, and these really, really cool effects. You can see the gigantic Agamotto behind him when he does his 5th skill. Just absolutely gorgeous. He was one of the coolest characters when he came out in 2016, and he's still one of the coolest characters, visually speaking. He's fallen off in terms of meta usefulness, but when I have the chance to use him and it's not going to really slow down my gameplay, I do love using him. And to this day, he has one of the most movie accurate attacks in the game. His tier 3 skill will always remind me of that scene in Infinity War where he's fighting Thanos, and it's just absolutely gorgeous. The only complaint I have about Doctor Strange, I don't think the devs will ever fix this, by the way, but the only complaint I have is that his tier 3 is really difficult to time when you turn the SFX on. And that kills me, because turning the SFX on makes his tier 3 so much cooler, because you get to see that. That's a thumbnail every time. That's a thumbnail every time. And they even give the camera angle that's sort of like the movie when you have the SFX on. It's just absolutely top tier gorgeous. Honestly, I'm just a mega simp. I love Doctor Strange in the comics, so he would be on this list regardless. But the animations, man, the animations just completely crush it. Up next, we have Iron Man, specifically with the superior Iron Man uniform. Now, this uniform is actually really cool as far as the skills go, but that's not the main reason why I like it. The main reason why I like it is once you get the boss down to 30%, I believe, the damage starts to be bussin', and I love me some big numbers. I love me some big numbers. So we're gonna save, actually we're gonna pop the tier 3 here. His tier 3 is also gorgeous. I've always loved his tier 3, but the damage you'll see could just completely goes sicko mode when you get the enemy, the boss below 30%. And this is best illustrated against Null, where you can take Iron Man into a really high stage that he normally would not be able to compete on, and all you have to do is just use Iron Man at the very end of the fight. It's that simple. The very last phase where Null is trying to recover in that cage. Here we go. Sicko mode on the damage. Just a casual 6 or 7 bars with the last rotation. But yeah, you use it against Null on the last 7 bars, and he can one-shot. It's amazing. It's honestly so cool. And to see that huge damage spike, to see over 1 million damage per hit against a crazy high defense, high HP boss like Null is so cool. And part of the reason why I like characters in general in Marvel Future Fight is that they have something unique to them. And that is something that's so unique about Iron Man. He's not going to be able to carry you through the whole fight. I'll use him on stage 30, which is a really high stage for Null in general. But I'll show you, I'll prove it to you guys. When you go up to stage 30, it's blast types. And you can see one of my teams here, I use Iron Man with Moonstone. Moonstone carries me almost home. She carries me to 3rd base. But then Iron Man carries me the rest of the way because he just boom. I mean, I could finish it with Moonstone, but Iron Man is so consistent. I can wait for Thor to come in and stun Null. I'm fine. And then I could just pop it off with Iron Man and he dunks Null. He dunks Null. It's so satisfying. At number 7, we have Molecule Man. Now, despite being the most expensive character in the game, I really love Molecule Man's skill animations, and he's surprisingly very meta for PvP. He completely rejects characters like Colossus and Mystique and Taskmaster because he ignores, with his leadership anyways, he ignores their effects to increase and decrease damage against heroes and villains, which makes him incredibly strong against specific enemies. But more than that, it's just his animations. Honestly, they're so gorgeous. No character in the game has animations like this, and to be able to win and win in style is something that I really enjoy. Now, he doesn't always win in every single fight, but especially if you can find a team that has double support, like if someone just happens to use Colossus and Mystique, or Taskmaster and Colossus, again with a Sentry, you're basically fighting a 3 versus 1, which is the most OP thing ever, because he completely ignores Colossus's passives and he completely ignores Mystique's passives or whatever. So you basically just have to kill Sentry. Once you kill Sentry, the team is donezo. And that's just Molecule Man, and that's just his lead. He's so good. I really enjoy watching him go to work and dominate. And you know, he doesn't win all the time. He still has a bit of a low HP pool despite being a native tier 2, tier 3, and being the most expensive in the game. But I think those animations in some way pay for the cost of entry. Coming in at number 6, we have Null. And Null, there's really not a lot to say here. He's just one of the coolest characters in the game, bar none. He has some of the most gorgeous skill animations, some of the coolest looking skills where you summon these symbiote dragons, these spikes that come out of the ground, and he slashes with this massive necro sword, giggity. He's just really cool. A little bit tricky to play with the CTP of energy. You do need to practice, but once you get it down, he is one of the strongest characters in the game. Super satisfying to play. You literally open up a symbiote rip in space and time in order to summon a whole bunch of little carnage heads or symbiote heads to devour your enemies. There's really no better feeling than to control the god of the symbiotes and, you know, completely decimate your opponents. And I just love physical damage characters. They're rarely this good. I think a lot of people forget that Null is a physical damage character, and it's just really nice to see them dominate and still be able to hold their own against what has long been you know, energy blast meta. So it's really cool. And you know, he's not the best anymore. You can see even the necro sword glows with symbiote goo when you have that power up from the 5th skill. He stabs himself, ladies and gentlemen. He stabs himself. That's all you need to know. about Null. He literally stabs himself and he's still gonna beat you. That's metal, and that's badass as hell. Speaking of physical types, at number 5 we have Rogue, and Rogue for me is more of a personal pick. I just love the character, and I always have, from the comics, the TV shows, not so much the movies, but we'll see if they can do her justice in future films now that Disney has control of the X-Men. Sorry, Anna Paquin, but yeah. But yeah, Rogue is just super cool. Her newest rework and her tier 3 just made her so good, so amazing, so strong. Just everything. She grows in size. She has all these different skill effects. She has reflect. Just top to bottom, really, really cool. And having all these different effects and all these different animations, and you got this little Psylocke slash and stuff, it just makes you feel like you're playing 2 or 3 characters rolled into one, and it doesn't hurt her. It definitely doesn't hurt her value, despite the fact that I love Rogue, that she's so strong. She's so tanky, she heals, like, she's just amazing for basically all content. She basically stomps on people, and she still claps. So yeah, it's just, who doesn't like Rogue, right? You'd have to be silly not to enjoy this character. At number 4, we have Mephisto, and Mephisto, like Null, is super duper strong, so of course I'm gonna like playing him, because power matters, but the transformation is really what sells it for me. You basically get 2 characters rolled into one. Despite the fact that I almost never use him in this form, I absolutely love his 5th skill. It's just one of the coolest looking skills in the game, and we talk about them reusing skill effects. I really hope they reuse this skill effect, specifically with the hands, with another character. I believe Ebony has it a little bit with blue hands. I'm not 100% sure. But man, this skill is just so freaking gorgeous. It is insane. Mephisto's obviously super strong. He's one of the strongest, if not the strongest character in the game, and sort of the most useful overall right now for PvE content. So that definitely helps. The one criticism I have of the character is that the audio on his skill effect is not fixed. So I think it's his 5th skill. It might be his 5th. Yeah, he creates this like jet sound effect, and it's just way too loud compared to the rest of the sound effects in the game. But despite the fact that he has that annoying effect that other characters have had in the past, like Quicksilver, etc., he is still such a cool character to play. He disappears, he turns into literal fire, and then of course, if you want to transform one more time, what's one transformation without another, right? He literally has it all, and he's super duper unique with the transformation. I just cannot get enough of it. Love Mephisto to bits. Coming in at number 3, we have Herald Thor, and this should be no surprise to those of you that watch all of my YouTube videos. I absolutely love Thor, and this uniform just takes it to another level. Like, I've always enjoyed Thor in the comics and in other media, but this uniform and this look for him, the most recent look in the comics, is just by far his coolest one, his most badass, and one of his most powerful. And that's really the combination that you cannot beat. So yeah, there's just everything about this character is cool. He doesn't have any one flaw, in my opinion. He could be stronger, sure. Not every character has to be meta. Even parts of his character that other people dislike, the charge up on the 4th skill, that can be a little bit clunky with the long cooldown. I personally really like that, because not only does it make his playstyle unique, which I'm always looking for in characters with 240 plus characters, you want something unique, right? You don't want a cookie cutter build. But yeah, I just love the fact that it's so thematic, that he spins that hammer and he gets stronger and stronger and stronger. It's just so cool. It's just so cool. And what better way to illustrate how cool he is than a chilling fight against his brother Loki? See what I did there? Chilling fight. And then yeah, who can say no to that eye glowing, lightning calling hammer tier 3? It's just so cool, man. It's just so cool. Like, just nothing. He's got the whole cosmic effect going on the front of his chest. He's just so dope, man. Herald Thor, honestly, that's the perfect example of, you don't have to be like meta. I could technically go through all of the content in the game now, given that I have a full roster and I have everyone maxed out, pretty much. I could definitely go through all the content in the game and not play as Thor. In that mission just now, I could have switched and played as Rogue, right? And I would have cleared it almost as fast. But it just goes to show you that it's not always about speed. It's not always about who's the strongest, who's the best. It's also about style, who's fun to play, who's cool, who's quirky, interesting. And Thor ticks all of those boxes. Before we do the top 2 here, shout out to Gladiator, honorable mention. Absolutely love playing as him, but have basically no content to play him in. However, my real number 2 is Cull Obsidian, aka Black Dwarf. The spin to win. The spin to win alone is the best part of this character, and it might seem shallow to you, and that's fine, but there's just something I love about the spin to win. You know, my childhood, spent a lot of time playing Diablo, and yeah, just being able to spin around the arena. Like, you can do whatever you want, and that's the really cool part about this game and about this skill. And this really gives you a feeling that you don't get with pretty much any other character. Yeah, like, sure, I could attack Quicksilver if I wanted to, or I could just spin around like a jerk and do whatever I want. I can spin around to avoid hazards. I can spin around to kill extra mobs that are around, or do extra, you know, if there's something that I have to destroy in order for the boss not to get a particular buff, like you have the pot in the Rocket Raccoon Shadowland stage. You get what I'm saying. But the fact that this skill exists, and the fact that it has the flexibility, and the fact that he throws the axe at the end, just top to bottom, man. I love combat characters. He heals himself. He's super tanky. He roars. Like, he has everything. He smashes you to pieces, and he spins to win. There's just, you know, yeah, what's not to love, right? What's not to love? And so we've reached number 1, Captain America Falcon. Now, for this character, there may be a bit of recency bias here, but coming from the Captain America and Winter Soldier Disney Plus show, I just cannot shake the feeling that this dude just really jumped off the screen and into my game. You really, really feel like you're playing like as Sam Wilson. He just looks so cool. He flies around like Falcon. He whips that shield around like Captain America. Just top to bottom, he's really, really cool. Even though I'm messing up all these rotations, his damage is insane, which is, of course, always attractive, because having crazy burst damage not only means that the character is going to be useful for multiple pieces of content, but it also makes you feel like they're really strong and they sort of deserve their place. But on top of all of that, a character that's basically flawless, you have this amazingly cool interaction where you're purposely dodging, you're purposely triggering your dodge by running into specific pieces of content, i.e. the poison clouds, which you're normally trying to avoid, the tornadoes, and you're doing this to trigger your insane heal. And I just really love that unique aspect of this character. It makes him feel so much different than other characters, and it really takes the normal advice as far as dodging those things and it spins it on its head. So yeah, a character that can solo stage 14 for me with no team is absolutely worthy of somewhere on this list, not to mention all of the other facts that I listed for why he's just super cool. So that is my list of top 10 characters that I love to play right now. The list obviously changes as new characters come out, so this is not like a, you know, of all time type list. I don't think I could possibly come up with one in a game that's changed so much in 6 years, and in a game that's given us so many different characters. Like, if you count uniforms, we've had like probably close to 400 or 500 different characters. But I'm curious, what are your top 10 characters that you love to play as? Hit me up in the comments down below. Let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care.